part 4 of the strategy guide for Dead by Daylight, and this is going to be the Survivor in-game. Let me bring up my uber elite artistic, that's said with much sarcasm. This is my crude drawing of a map. I got F's in school in art, so yeah. Anyway, part 4, Survivor in game. Now, let me does this work? Okay, that works. Alright, so first thing you do as a survivor, the first thing you want to go in game is wow. Alright, yeah, we're going to have screenshots as well. Well, there's another video. Let's do the other video first. There's a little video I want to show you. This is knowing who your killer is in the first 10 seconds of the game. Alright? There's one audio way and one video way. Let's do the audio first. When you first enter a game as a survivor, you will know 90% of the time, 95% of the time, you will know who the killer is within 10 seconds. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. The first is an audio cue. If you hear a bell dong, you know it's the Wraith. If you hear a chainsaw, because most likely the hillbilly will use the chainsaw to travel, to fast travel, it's a chainsaw. If you don't hear nothing, then you could halfway assume that it is the trapper. But how do you tell 100%? You want to know who it is right at the start of the game before anything. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And someone else did the video, so there was no reason for me to do it. So I'm just going to go to this guy. Credit to whoever did this video. I'm going to, yeah, there's different hooks. Each killer has a hook.
Hey guys,
okay. I'm like I said, credit to this guy, Mr. Whatever his name is, right there. The first thing I want to show you here is, see this hook? Notice there are antlers on the hook. The hook is wrapped in gauze. That is the Wraith. Antlers, gauze, Wraith. Okay? I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to speed through this a little bit. That is the Wraith. Alright?
That's the Wraith.
There's going okay, this hook right here, see the ropes? There's no gauze, there's no antlers, there's rope. The rope is the trapper.
There's a rope around it. Rope, and that's.
And the hillbilly one. Oh, okay, hillbilly. No gauze, no rope, and it looks like a 2-year-old put it together and out of a junkyard. That is the hillbilly. Okay? So we got gauze and antlers, Wraith. Rope. The rope is the trapper. There's the rope. That's the trapper. And the crude one that has no rope, no gauze, that is the hillbilly. That way you know the killer you're facing in the first 10 seconds of the game. So that is, I just wanted to get that out of the way. I had a few nightmare matches. I got in the game and I ran around, I popped a generator, and I went to another generator and I popped the second generator, and I was so pissed. I was like, oh my gosh, what's everyone else doing? Everyone else is screwing up. No one else is popping generators. This is going to be a fail. I looked down. I was the only one in the game. So the number one thing you want to do as soon as you get in the game, look to the bottom left of the screen and make sure you got 4 people. Because if you don't, the game massively changes. Sometimes if you only have 2 or 3 people, the generators, it'll say 4 instead of 5. Okay? But always know the number of people, because it's massively different. If you're the only one in the game, and this only happened once, out of hundreds of games I played, it only happened once where I was the only one, the killer knows where you're at because you just popped 2 generators. He went to one generator that you popped and went to the other one you popped. He's going to know where you're at. So always know how many people, and you can see that as soon as the game starts. Look down your bottom left, you see that you got 3 people with you, you're good to go. I just told you how to figure out who the killer is in the first 10 seconds of the game, so you're good to go there. Also, regardless of the map, and this isn't a specific map, I just threw this together. However, every map has the same number of generators. There's always 7, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's always 7 generators on every map. And you have to pop 5 of them in order for you to escape. Unless, I mean, you have to pop at least 2 for the escape hatch. That's in another video. All the escape hatch locations. That's in a video. I think it's the miscellaneous after the killer video. Now, if you're a high rank or high level and you have the ability to sabotage, as I said before in the previous video, a lot of people above rank 9, they really screw the game up because they run around, sabotage everything. It doesn't really help the survivors. And I mean, time is on the side of the killer. If you're not popping generators, the killer's finding you. So what you want to do here is, if you can, and the killer can see all the generators from the first second, you can't. So what you don't want to do is leave yourself screwed if you can help it. Like if you popped these 4 generators and these well, you can't see this, can you? Alright. If you popped, let me make this big. If you popped these 4 generators and you left these 3, you screwed yourself. Because the killer is just going to do this. He's going to patrol. Boom, 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 boom. He's just going to do this. The whole game he'll just do that after you pop those 4. Because you got to pop 5. There's the 4 that you pop. Try not to screw yourself. Because the killer is just going to patrol these. And as soon as he sees a piston move, he's going to know you're on that generator and he's going to search around it. So, okay. So if you can, a lot of times you can't help it. You're just running around popping generators to get out. I understand that. But remember, try to leave the last 3, if you can, far apart. If not, it's not that big of a deal, because I'm going to show you how to go to a go-to generator. I'll show you how to do that later. Me, as I come into a game, let's say I spawn here. Let's say I spawn right here. I'm a generator person. I will pop 1 hook because I got Saboteur. If you got Saboteur Toolbox, if the first thing I see is a hook, I'll pop the hook. If I don't see a hook and the first thing I see is a gen, I'll pop a gen, and then go from gen to gen and pop them. I don't go hook, 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 trap, trap, because you're just hurting your team. If you feel that you got to pop 1 hook, go for it. But popping more than that, you're really hurting the team. And then if I do want to pop a hook and all I see is a generator, so I pop 1 generator, pop 2 generators, or make sure that 2 generators are popped before you start popping hooks. Because if 2 generators are popped and everyone dies, that person, the last survivor, can go through the escape hatch. But you have to have at least 2 gens popped or you cannot go through the escape hatch. So don't screw the rest of the team. Pop even if you can't pop the gens, if you see 2 gens popped and you only need 3 left, then if you want to go for a hook, go for it. But don't screw the team. I already showed you how to know which killer you're facing in the first 10 seconds of the game. I showed you the video. If it's possible as a survivor, you want to stay with a teammate, and here's why. Let's say I'm a killer and I run up on the generator that you and your buddy's working on. I have a choice. I can go after you or your buddy. If I run up on a generator and I catch you near the generator and it's only you, I'm chasing you. So it's better to have a 50-50 chance of being chased than a 100% chance of being chased. So try to stay with a buddy. You can also killers can get confused too if they got too many. If they got to make a choice, and then the other person's a nutmeg and she speed bursts away, and then he turns back to you, but you're already gone. So you can really confuse a killer. But if you're solo, he has 1 target, and that is you. Another thing about being a survivor, especially if you're new to the game plays off of fear. Don't be scared. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you're going to die in a game. So don't be scared. Scared is how you make mistakes. Scared is how you miss your skill checks. You should make 95% of your skill checks, and the reason being is because you're given a notice. There's a ding before you when you're on a generator, okay, and you're working on a generator. Before that skill check comes up, you're going to hear a ding. You got to listen for it. After you hear it, you'll tune your brain to it, and you'll always know when a skill check's coming up. You'll hear a dink, and the skill check pops up. So the game gives you a warning, hey, a skill check's coming, and it instantly comes up. So it's dink, there's your skill check. Dink, there's your skill check. So when you go to a generator, and you don't know this, you never knew this before, when you go up to the generator, next time you do, start fixing it, and when you see the skill check, listen real carefully, and you'll hear a dink, and you'll see the skill check pop up. After you attune your brain to that, you should make 90 to 95% of your skill checks. You should barely ever miss a skill check again. After you got to hear it. It's an audio dink. That's what it is. Another big mistake of survivors is they run. They just, why are you running? You're running, and that gives the killer gets to see all the marks. You put marks all over the map when you run. In a line, it's kind of a cluster bunch line. But you tell the killer where you're at because there's lines all over the ground. Look, I was running and I was right here. So there should I have a list of 4 times you should ever run. If you don't meet one of these conditions, you should not be running. When you rank up, you're going to notice you're going to get into a game, you're going to start running, and you're going to look around, you're going to see the other 3 players, and they're going to be looking at you like you're stupid. Don't run. There's only 4 reasons to run. Reason number 1, you have been spotted and you are being chased by the killer. Then you should be running. You are running towards or through an open exit. That's another time you can run. You are going to save a hooked survivor and the killer is preoccupied elsewhere. If you're coming up, and you want to save that person on the hook, and you see the killer, someone's in a dying state, you'll see him like the little red outline because the killer's chasing someone else and he knocks someone down. Run up to that hook, save him, and get out of there. Okay? There are hook campers, so don't be just running up to a hook to save someone because you're probably going to get knocked down. That's the 3rd reason. The 4th reason is the killer's on the other side of the map, or you know where the killer is and he is not close. If you hear the chainsaw and the chainsaw's on the other side of the map, you can go ahead and run. But you don't, besides those 4 reasons, you don't want to run. Now, when to run or not to run when you're failing a skill check. Okay, here's what happens. When you're on a generator and you're repairing the generator and you miss a skill check, there's a loud explosion. If the killer's near, he hears that. There's also a visual, if he's on the other side of the map, he still sees this. It's a visual explosion at your generator. So he knows when you miss a skill check. If it's a trapper killer, you're going to hear the heartbeat if he's coming in on you. If it's the chainsaw, you're going to hear the heartbeat if he's coming in on you. If it's the wraith and he's stealthed, you're not going to hear him. So if you're playing against the wraith, and I already showed you how to know who you're playing, what killer you're playing against in the first 10 seconds, okay, then you need to move. And the perfect time to run when you blow a skill check is within 1 second of when you blow that skill check, because if it's after that and the killer has like spies from the shadows and you run, he gets another explosion and another video explosion where you run, because he has that perk, so he knows you're running away. So again, you should not be missing your skill checks. When to save someone on a hook and when not to. As I said in a previous video, each player is an asset or a liability. You save your assets and you cut your liabilities. If it's someone that saved you, I don't care if you're going to die and lose a match. You need to save them. They Americaned up, or whatever country you live in, France, they Frenched up, and they saved your ass. You owe them your life. So if you're going to die, you're going to die. You need to save them, because that shows teamwork and it shows professionalism. But when to save and when not to save. If you approach a hook and the person, first of all, there's 2 universal symbols, which I'll get to here in a minute. But if you get towards a hook and you hear a heartbeat, the killer's camping the hook. there's nothing you can do there unless you go in with someone else. If you go in, if you see another player going in to save, go in, because one person's going to be the bait and the other person's going to unhook the person. But if you get close to a hook and you hear that heartbeat and you know the killer's right there, or you see the killer, you got to go. You got to punish the killer by leaving and popping generators. That's the only way newbie killers will learn. And if they're hook guarding, that's different. But if they're hook camping, they're a newbie. They ain't that good anyway. If you're trying to save someone on the hook and a killer spots you and chases you, I have seen, and this is high-ranking people, I've seen so many people screw up, they'll run around. Well, why are you running around the hook? If you're coming up to save me and the killer sees you and starts chasing you, run away from the hook so another survivor can save me. If you run circles and you're going through obstacles and you're doing it right around the hook, I'm fucked. If you get aggro from the killer near a hook and you're trying to save someone, take the killer away from the hook so someone else has a chance to save the person on the hook. You're hurting your team if you sit there and try to juke the killer right there at the hook. It's silly. You're killing your team. Okay, here's two symbols. People that are in distress. If you see a player laying on the ground in a dying state, you'll see their red outline, and they are wiggling back and forth. Their heads moving back and forth. They're telling you no. They'll wiggle back and forth, back and forth. They're telling you no, don't save me. The killer is using me as bait. So the killer might have Insidious, where he's going stealth, and he's trying to bait you to come in to get him. Now, the opposite of that means come and save me. If you see the dude in a dying state, you see his red outline, you see him going in a straight line, he wants to be saved. He's trying to get someone close to get saved. He's trying to get in bushes. He's trying to get away from where the killer knocked him down. But if he's moving his body on the ground left and right, he's telling you the killer is using me as bait. Do not come in here. Another universal sign is if you see a hooked individual, you see them on the hook and they're raising their hands up and down real fast. This means I am being hook camped. If you come in, you're going to need more than one player. If someone's being hook camped and you're alone, don't go save them. If you see someone else, or you're close and you see someone else going to save them, go in. Because like I said, the killer's going to find one of you, and because he's going to be right there at the hook, and then when the person pulls them away from the hook, then you can go in and save the hooked individual. But again, you got to be aware of killers with Insidious. What Insidious does, it's a perk. The Wraith has stealth, but he has to ding dong his bell to come out of stealth, and you got about 3 seconds or so before he can whack you. Insidious makes you stealth. If you got to sit still. Rank 1 is 6 seconds, rank 2 is 4 seconds, rank 3 is 3 seconds. So if he has rank 3 Insidious, he can stand still for 3 seconds. His terror radius drops to 0. You won't hear his heartbeat, and he becomes stealth. So he becomes like that smoky, like the Wraith stealth. Okay, so you got to be aware of that. I don't run it on my killer because I do if I don't have the better perks. If I have the better perks, I don't run it. So you got to be aware of Insidious. If you see someone, if you get close to a hook and a dude's sitting there waving his hands up and down, but you don't hear a heartbeat, that means the killer has Insidious and he's right by the hook waiting for you to go there, and he's going to grab you, and he don't even have to hit you. He grabs you by the back of your shirt when you're trying to save the guy, and he throws you on his shoulder and he hooks your ass as well. That's the same as if the dude's shaking his head back and forth if he's on the ground. You get close and there's no heartbeat, then the killer has Insidious. When you're repairing a generator, I've seen people totally screw this up. Okay, there's 3 generators on this map, this crude map that I drew, that could be what I call go-to generators. This generator, and this generator. Now, what is a go-to generator? You can go up to a generator, and you still get full points. You get full points. You take the generator up to like 95% repair, and then walk away from it. Okay, here is why you do this. First of all, don't do it to these generators out here. I've seen fucking noobs do this. It's absolutely... I know what they're trying to do, but when you get up into higher ranks, it doesn't work. because the killer goes up to the generator, he sees there's 4 pistons moving, he knows it's a go-to generator, it's a waste of your time. But these, you do it, why do you do these 3? Because it's by the exit. So let's say, let me Control Z, clear some of these lines. Alright, so let's say that you make this your go-to generator. You take it up to 95% and you leave it. So this is popped, this one's popped, this one's popped. Okay, so you have, you know, you have 7 generators. You have to pop 5. Okay, 3 have been popped. You know this has been popped. This is your go-to generator. It's not popped. It's 99, 95, 99% popped. So as soon as, let's say, this generator gets popped, the killer thinks he still has time to cock block you from getting 1 generator, but he's mistaken. Now, high-ranking killers already know this. They know that you have go-to generators. But anywhere from rank 20 up to like rank 7, 8, 9, they don't know this. Because as soon as that gets popped, okay, let's say the killer's here, the killer's gone to it because it just got popped. You run up, pop this, and the exit's right here. So you go to the exit and you start working on the exit. There is no way the killer can get to you before the exit's popped, and you leave and you win. I call them go-to generators. And why you don't do these generators out here is, let's say you make this your go-to generator. Okay, so let's say that gets popped, that gets popped, that gets popped, and this gets popped. So you're right here, you run to your generator and you pop it. Okay, you pop the generator, the doors are powered. Wherever the killer is on the map, he's going to go fucking guard the doors. So you've done nothing. Because by the time you get there, the killers are going to be there unless you got lucky and he's over here. Now, this is a really bad map. Like I said, this is just one I threw together. It doesn't represent a map in game. But you'll see this, is the killer can be right here. Right here. He can turn and look and see the red lights on this aren't. And he can look here and see that the red lights on this aren't. So he can sit there and you guys got to pop one of them doors. There's only 2 exits. There's 5 generators and 2 exits. So killers, high rank killers know that. Okay, so when you're repairing generators, leave a go-to generator, but that's what that is. And any one of these, the ones that are real close to the exits, you only want to leave 1 go-to generator. And like I said, it's 95 to 99%. The only time it really hurts is when you get like to 96% and a skill check pops. And or you walk away from it and right as you leave go a skill check pops. That sucks, but it's worth it to keep a go-to generator by the exits. And like I said before, I've seen other people, they'll leave this at 99%, they'll leave that at 99%, they'll leave that at 99%, and then somebody will pop one, and let's say they pop this. Okay, so you got your 5 generators, but someone has to run and run throughout the entire map and pop all these. Meanwhile, like I said, high ranking, and you're going to see this if you guys watch the killer video. You're going to see me teach killers how to scope out generators and how to play and how to figure all this shit out. But there's nothing they can do if you make these go-to generators, or 1 of these. You could probably do 2 if you were feeling ballsy, but I wouldn't do more than that. So as if you can, and sometimes you're going to be pissed because you're going to be at your go-to generator, you're going to get 95%, there's going to be another person on it, and they're going to take it to 100%. Or someone's going to run along and pop it, you know, because they're a noob and they don't know, you know, what they're doing. Another one, never just sit and repair a generator. A lot of people do that. Like say this, let's use this generator. Okay, let's say you sit there and you're facing this way. Don't do that. Instead, because remember I said that premonition and spine chill are 2 of the big perks you want. Let's say you have it. Let's say you have spine chill. You want to be doing the generator here, facing the generator, repairing it. Why? Well, because the killer can't come through the wall. So he's not going to grab you in the ass. He can't come through the wall back here. Okay? And you would be facing this way. Now, premonition works on your line of sight, 45-degree angle. Okay? So you're looking this way. How you look there is you can hold your mouse down, you're repairing the generator, and you pan it to the left. And you look this way. So you know the killer can't come behind you because the damn walls are behind you. You know the killer can't come this way because if he comes this way, your premonition will go off. Well, what about this way? If the killer comes this way, your spine chill goes off. So let me get all these sloppy lines here. So this is how the endgame players play. If you're facing this generator and you are looking in this direction, that's about 45. That's about 45 degrees because that's 90. So that's 45 degrees. If the killer's coming to you this way and your premonition goes off, you would go back here and hide. If the killer's coming this way and your spine chill goes off, you would go this way. You see what I'm saying? The killer never catches you. Now, if you're sitting there and let's say you're facing this way on the generator and you're just sitting there repairing it and you're looking this way, your premonition's never going to go off because the killer's not coming through the walls. Okay? If the killer comes this way, your spine chill will come off. Will proc. If he comes this way, your spine chill will proc, but where are you going to go? Do you go this way or do you go this way? Do you go this way? Because if you go this way and he's coming from this direction, he could see you and just chase you. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So always, you want to cover if you can, because a lot of the generators are on the outside of the map. Not all of them, but the majority are. You want to cover your ass. You know he can't come through the walls behind you. So you want to look left and let your spine chill work right. Or look right and let your spine chill work left. That way the killer will, every time he comes up on a generator, he's going to find nothing. Because when your premonition procced or your spine chill procced, you already left. Alright, so that's just never sit and repair a gen. Pan around by moving your mouse. Roxy, lay down. My dog has to go potty. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Okay, over time, there's also juke spots. A previous patch took a lot of the juke spots out. So you don't have as many juke spots. You have escape routes, but you don't have as many juke spots. There might be one or two still left, but I can't really brief you on juke spots because, like I said, the patch took a lot of them out. So as far as being chased, we'll do a little thing here where I don't have this yet. Okay, I do have it. It's a little later in my notes. The two easiest ways for a killer to pick you up. How does a killer become aware of you? The first is, of course, the infinite you miss a skill check. There's a loud audio boom and there's a big video explosion here, and the killer is just running here and he sees it and he goes after it and he's coming to you. That's the first way. The most common way a killer picks you up is by the explosion. And trust me, if you play killer when you're playing against newbies, it is so funny because all you hear is like bang, bang, and the fucking bang, and it's like, really? They're all missing their skill checks, and it gets kind of, I mean, I was laughing so hard one time, there was tears streaming from my eyes. It was just so funny. But that is, and I already told you how you should never miss a skill check because of the audio note. But that is the two easiest ways the killers pick you up. Is the first one is by the missed skill check. The second is by, and I told you not to do this, running. If you're here, let's say you pop this gen, okay, and you run to this generator, okay, and the killer's dilly-dallying around here, and you're already here. You're already here, and you're about to get on the gen. You know what this killer does? He sees all the fucking run marks. So what does he do? He follows it. But let's say he goes this way. The run marks disappear because they're only, I think they're only good for like three or 4 seconds. So he knows you went this way, and what is this way? The generator. So he already knows where you're at. Don't run unless you have a good reason. Like I said, if you know where the killer is and he's over here hooking somebody, fuck yeah, go ahead, run, because he ain't gonna know anything. But if you don't know where the killer is, don't run. You're just advertising your location. Alright. Something else, and this has happened to me when I learned this in the game. This has happened to me and it really irks me. If you're with a buddy, okay, let's say you're on this generator and your buddy's on a generator and he misses the skill check. It's the same bang, it's the same video, the same visual notification. So if a killer comes in because your buddy banged the frickin' generator, if he bangs it once, you know, right as you get to it or something, or you think there's a reason, okay, but the same rules apply. You know, if it's the Wraith killer and he banged a generator, I'd leave. You go to that generator because that Wraith is most likely coming in. Be aware of noobs that pop that miss their skill checks on generators. Another, oh my gosh, I've seen this happen, and this is another thing that irks me. Let's say you're on this generator, okay, and you have a guy here, a friendly, and he pops a hook. He destroys a hook, and he doesn't help you, and he goes this way, and he runs into the killer. And I've seen people do this because they're cowards. Guess what he does? He comes back to you. Why? Because when the killer's chasing him, he hopes that the killer sees you and chases you instead of him, leaving him to run away, and then the killer chases you and you're fucked. Don't do that. Only noobs do that. It is absolutely horrible. But at higher ranks, it always seems to happen. Someone will get aggro and they know where you're at because they just passed you, walking past you, or running past you, and they're like, oh, he's there, so I'm going to take the killer there, and maybe the killer will chase him instead of me. Don't do that. It's so juvenile. It's just so kiddie-ish. As a survivor, you always want to be doing something constructive to help your team escape. I've seen newbies do this. I don't see high-ranked players do this, but newbies, I have started a match and a newbie will go to a locker and hide in it. No killer. The gens didn't pop. The game started 5 seconds ago. They run to a closet and they hide in the closet for no reason. What are they doing? They got to go get something to drink. They got to go to the bathroom. Why didn't they do that shit before they started the game? When they do that, they hurt the whole team. They're hurting you. So don't hurt no one else. Always be doing something. You should always be on a generator. That's me. Until you escape, you should always be on a generator, or unless you're sabotaging a hook or trying to get an item out of a chest. You should never be sitting there staring at the walls, going AFK, hiding in closets, or anything like that. You'd be surprised. You will be surprised when you see people doing the dumb shit. I've seen people standing there in the corner of the map hiding when the killer's nowhere to be. I think they went AFK. The killer's nowhere to be found. No heartbeat, nothing. They're just sitting there in the corner of the map, crouched. What the fuck? Anyway, all right. Another big thing for survivors. Okay, and this is a big thing. This is going to save your life numerous times. If you see the gens, what I do when I get into a map is I patrol the outside of the map, looking for a generator. I see a generator. I'll work on this generator. Use the outside of the map to travel, because the vast majority of gens will be on the outside. See the outside of the map, outside of the map, outside of the map. This one's semi-outside of the map. This one's in the map. There's the vast majority. You're always going to find like 4 generators on the outside of the map. There's always going to be 1 or 2 probably in the middle and 1 off where it shouldn't be somewhere. But use the outside of the map to travel. You want to use the outside of the map to travel. Why? Because if you use the inside of the map to travel, if the killer's here, I mean, and you're using the inside of the map, if he just turns around, he's going to see you. So you want to use, and you always want to put, like, if there's a tree here and a tree here, you see what I'm saying? He can't see through trees. So you use that cover so you use the cover by traveling on the outside of the map. Now, when the killer notices you, you do the exact opposite. You have to escape to the inside of the map. Here is why. Let's say the killer sees you, you're here, and the killer's here. and you go to the outside of the map. What's the killer going to do? He's not going to chase you. He's not going to chase you. This is a guaranteed hit for the killer. The killer's going to go this way. You're going to go down here, and he's going to go and keep you to the outside of the map, and you're going to go here, and he's going to go here, and you're going to go into the fucking wall. And he's going to come up right here, and you're fucked. You're going to see me teach killers this in the killer video. You keep your survivors to the outside of the map. It's a guaranteed hit every single time. So if you're a survivor and you're here, and I don't know why the hell you'd be here. Let's say you're traveling from let's say you just popped this generator and you're going traveling on the outside of the map to this generator, and the killer was here and he spots you. What do? You run to the inside of the map and use the obstacles. Yes, if he's a noob, he's going to chase you straight and you're going to have a few seconds. If he's a vet, he's going to go this way to keep you to the wall, and you might get whacked here anyway. But you got to escape to the inside of the map, use your obstacles and shit on the inside of the map. Don't go outside. It's a guaranteed hit every time. I know you're thinking, well, I'll just go out here, and when I get to here, I'll just juke them right here. And if you ever play me or you watch me play, you're going to see I'm going to come here, and I'm going to let you sit there and dance and run back and forth, and I'm just going to stop and stare at you and slowly move in, because you have two walls. You can't go through walls. You're going to get hit. It happens all the time. So as a survivor, travel on the outside, escape on the inside. Chests. It's very important that you understand chests give points. So let's say you go into a map and you just happen to be, you're on the cornfield map, one of those fucking farm maps that have the chest in the middle of the cornfield, and you're going by and no one's popped it. Go ahead and pop the chest. Let's say you have a toolbox. I'm not going to take what's in the chest. You still get points. You get, I think it's is it 500 or 750 points for just opening the chest. You don't have to take what's inside it. Leave it there. If you're not going to use it, leave it there. So the next survivor, if he goes past it, he looks in it and can just pick up the stuff. You can do that. Something else, a lot of people don't know this. Let's say that we're on a team, and let's say that we're both survivors, and I get hooked, and I had a med kit, and no one saves me, and I die. You can go to the hook and pick up my med kit, because my med kit's laying on the floor. So if you see someone, if the killer takes someone down to the killer's lair and they die, and let's say they had a med kit because you saw that all four people had a med kit or whatever they had, it's a free item. Go pick it up if you don't have an item. It could be better than the item you have. You don't want to spend, you don't want to travel across the map to get it because you don't know what it is, unless you do. Oh, he just hung, Mike Wang, and Mike Wang had a med kit when he started the match. But yes, and also if you see an open toolbox or an open chest and you don't have anything, just it takes 2 seconds to just go up to it and see if an item pops up. You just left click and you pick it up. But some chests, people open them and take the stuff out. Sometimes, I do it all the time, open a chest and leave the thing in there. I don't want the thing, I want the experience points. And when people die, they drop their items, and you can just go up to the item and just left click and pick it up. That's a lot of people don't know that about hook characters that die, drop their items on the ground for anyone to pick up. Okay, now here's the thing with no one escapes death. Let's say that you guys popped all the gens, and let's say you're here, you're gone to the exit, and let's say he hook and killed one. There's 3 people left, and you're all healthy. What I mean by healthy is not injured. Injured is you see a person that looks like they're gimped, and you can tell someone is fully healed. They just have their player portrait. Someone that's hurt, it shows them like limping. So let's say you see someone fully healed, and they get instantly dropped. They're instantly in a dying state. You need to leave immediately. Don't try to save them. Don't code to them. Just fucking leave. What that is someone that's fully healthy that gets instantly dropped, unless it's the chainsaw dude, the hillbilly. That is no one escapes death, tier 3, level 3. And you get hit once and you're in a dying state. So if you go try to rescue him, you better be Super Master Ninja, because if you get hit once, you're done. And high-ranking killers will bait the shit out of survivors. I've done it myself. I'll knock them down to the ground and I'll let them crawl around. You come in and save them, and I just need to hit you once. So it's important that when the exit gates are powered, just look down. It takes less than a second. Look down, see what everyone's in. If they're all healthy and all of a sudden someone gets dropped, you know the killer has no one escapes death and you need to leave. No saving, no rescuing, don't play hero, leave, because there's no reason for two people to die when one's surely going to. And that's saved me a lot of times. You can always assume the killer has that, but that's kind of rough because sometimes they don't. And that's another thing too. And I've done this as a survivor. If the exit gates are powered, I always look down to check the health state of the other players. If one of them gets hit and he doesn't get dropped, I might go save him. I'm actually motivated to save him because I know the killer doesn't have no one escapes death 3, so he has to hit me twice to kill me. So I can go now. I'll go pop the door first. Always have an open exit door. Even if someone's hooked, go open the exit door first. So if the shit hits the fan, you can run through it because it's already opened. But after I open an exit gate, if the killer doesn't have no one escapes death, I will go try to save hooked people because he has to hit me twice. And I'm already capped out with sprint and everything else, so I ain't worried about the killer anyway. But remember that and you can't do it till the exit doors are powered. You have to wait till they are powered. If someone gets one-shotted, leave immediately. If someone gets hit and they go from a full health state to wounded, you're good to go. You can go rescue them if you want. Open the gates first, or open one gate. Open one gate first and know where the hell the gate is. I forgot where open gates are a couple times, which didn't help me at all. At exit gates, okay. Let's say that you did what I do. You ran around, you popped the generators are open, you go, you didn't do nothing else. You didn't heal yourself, you didn't save nobody, you didn't get hooked, nothing. You didn't pop no chest, nothing. You went straight to the exit and you know that you only got like 10,000 points and you need something to make sure that you get your tick up. When you go through the exit, there's a set of tires at all the exits. It's right before you get right before that you survive. Go to the tires and stop. Let the killer stay there. It might take you a minute or two. I've waited 5 minutes before, especially when I thought I didn't have enough points to tick up. Let the killer come. He's going to see you, and most killers, because they get chase points and they get points, they get hit experience points and chase experience points for seeing you. They get survivor found experience points as well. So they'll see you, they'll run up to you, and they'll hit you. And then you get chased points, escaped points, and something else. But you have to make sure you're at those tires, because if he has no one escapes death, you're getting dropped to the ground. And when you're at the tires, you only have to move like a 1/16 of an inch, and you'll survive. Sometimes if you can do it close enough with experience, you'll know right where to go by the tires. He'll hit you and he'll knock you on the ground, but you're already past the point, so you already survived. So he'll get his points, you'll get your points, and you leave. Don't taunt killers at exits. Okay? A professional player, we're saying you're trying to be a professional player. A professional player will sit there. Don't bunny hop. Bunny hop is taunting. It's saying, ha ha, killer, I popped the generators and I'm leaving. The killer thinks you're a fucking 2-year-old in diapers. And 2-year-olds shouldn't be in diapers, by the way. But he thinks you're a 2-year-old in diapers. Don't bunny hop. Sit there and just motionless by the tires. He knows, hey, I want a few extra points. You come over and hit me and you get a few extra points. It's a friendly thing. And I'm going to tell you about friendly killers later. Because there's friendly killers that won't kill you at all and are glad to have you in the map. But that's something to be discussed in a later video. Yes, and we will talk about friendly killers. But yeah, sit there by the tires, let them come up, let them whack you and go. If you're bunny hopping and I come up on you, I'm not going to hit you. I'll just walk away. You ain't getting shit from me and you ain't getting no damn points. And I will still get my chase points and I still found you and got my chase points. So the only thing I'm missing is my EXP points I get for hitting you. So don't bunny hop. It makes you look like a 2-year-old in diapers. Yes, Roxy, we're going to go potty in a minute. I have also killed many people goofing around at exit. They're not by the tires. They're just like in the exit where the door's just open, and they're sitting there goofing. Oh, I'm going to run from you, and they turn to run, and I hit them, and I have no one escapes deaths tier 3, and they're on the ground, and they got about like 10 feet to the exit. Guess what? Their ass gets hooked, and I sit there when I hook them because they taunted me. When I hook them, I camp them. I don't move. I stand right in front of them. I won't whack them. I won't do nothing. I'll stand there and stare right at them, totally still, to let them know how fucking stupid they really are. But anyway, don't bunny hop. Endgame etiquette at gates. Bunny hopping is griefing. Letting the killer get a hit is a professional good game, sir. Make sure you're in line with the tires to guarantee you escape in case he has no one escapes death. Let the killer get a hit at exit. Make sure you are lined up with tires. You get points for this as well as killer. I already explained all that. So, I understand you guys are probably still laughing at my crude map here. That is why I decided to actually play as a survivor to show you all this stuff. That's in a later video, but I had to draw this map because again, you have to know there's 7 generators. Yes, Roxy, we're going potties. Anyway, my dog has to go potty, so I'm going to go ahead and end the video. This is part 4, Survivor in game. Next is part 5, Killer in game. So if you want to see all the secrets I'm going to tell the killers, then you'll have to watch the next video. Anyway, thanks you guys for dropping